On the day of my father's funeral, I called my husband, who hadn't shown up. As soon as he answered, he yelled at me.
What are you doing? Did you forget what day it is today?
Huh? What day is it? I'm at my father's funeral. What about you? What are you doing?
Funeral? Did you forget? Today is my mom's birthday. Hurry up, buy some premium champagne, and come home.
Frustrated by my husband prioritizing his mother over my father's funeral, I reached my limit. Despite boiling anger, I took a deep breath to calm down. I turned on the speakerphone on my smartphone to let everyone hear our conversation with my husband. My name is Emma. I lost my mother a few years ago and now live with my father. I met Oliver through a friend at that time. He, unlike me, lost his father a few years ago and lives with his mother. With such common ground, Oliver and I quickly became close. He always reserved lovely restaurants for our dates and took care of me perfectly. I was increasingly drawn to dependable Oliver. On one of our dates, he proposed at an upscale French restaurant. Delighted, I agreed to marry him, and we set up a new home close to his mother's place. I was excited about this newlywed life. However, it was far from what I had envisioned. Despite being newlyweds, Oliver wanted to go to his mother's home every weekend and showed no interest in spending time alone as a couple. Moreover, Oliver and his mother had an unusually close relationship. One day, when we returned to his mother's house, something happened.
Mom, I'm home.
Oliver, I've been waiting. Did you work hard this week?
Yeah, exhausted. I missed your cooking, Mom.
Well, Oliver, it seems you can only feel energetic with my cooking.
Oliver's mother fusses over him like a child, and he seems genuinely pleased. The two behave as if I'm not even there. Trying to join the conversation, I head to the kitchen to help Oliver's mother. As I search for a topic, I notice the dressing on the table. Oh, this dressing is the same as the one Oliver and I saw at the restaurant where we had our first date. What a coincidence. Then, Oliver's mother looks slightly proud.
That restaurant was good, wasn't it? If you're targeting a girl, invite her here. I chose it.
Huh?
That restaurant is close to a cafe, and the route to see the night view after the cafe is perfect. Well, it may not match the upscale French restaurant where he proposed, but it added a special touch to the proposal, don't you think?
Wait, did you plan all the dates he took me on? My mother-in-law puffed up her nose with pride.
Yes, exactly. Wasn't it the best date plan? I'm not particularly fond of you, but if it's what Oliver wants, I'll cooperate.
As I was shocked by my mother-in-law's words, Oliver appeared in the kitchen.
Mom, are you still here? I'm starving.
Oh, sorry about that. I was telling Emma about the restaurant I told you about.
Even though the secret is out that his mother planned all our dates, Oliver remains unfazed and smiles at his mother.
Really, Mom? Your choice of restaurants is always spot on. I can trust you, without a doubt.
You have a demanding job, so you don't want to waste time choosing restaurants for dates.
Naturally, he stayed at his mother's home that day. In the end, Oliver and I returned home late on Sunday night. Once home, I voiced my dissatisfaction to Oliver. During weekdays, you're busy with work, so we can't talk leisurely, right? That's why I want some quality time as a couple on weekends. Then Oliver responded somewhat displeased.
Huh? Are you saying you don't want to go to my mom's place?
It's not that, but going there every week might be a bit much, don't you think?
I left home, so my mom is all alone. I thought you'd feel uneasy living together, so I gave up on that. Are you reluctant to even visit? I didn't think you were so cold.
If you say that, it's also difficult for me to leave my father alone every week.
You're married now, so you shouldn't frequently go back to your parents' house. There's a difference between you and me.
No matter how much I tried to convey, Oliver didn't understand, and the discussion remained at an impasse. One day, while spending every weekend at my in-laws' house, without being able to do anything, I received an unusual message from my father. To his surprise, a tumor was found during a physical examination, and he was hospitalized. I immediately informed Oliver about it. Hey, Dad has been diagnosed with a tumor, and he'll be hospitalized. I want to accompany him, so I'll be going to the hospital this weekend. Upon hearing this, my husband's mood instantly soured.
We had plans to go to my mom's place this weekend.
Even if you say that, the situation is what it is, so there's nothing we can do.
Fine. Then, I'll go to my mother's house alone this weekend. In return, make sure you prepare for my mom's birthday party next month.
Without showing any concern for my father, Oliver headed to his in-laws' house alone for the weekend. When I saw my father after a long time, he seemed somehow thinner and smaller.
Emma, I'm sorry.
What are you saying? We're a family of only 2, so lean on me at times like this. After hearing detailed information from the attending doctor, it turned out that my father's tumor was malignant and quite advanced. I encouraged my father every day at the hospital. However, a few days later, his condition deteriorated rapidly, and he passed away quietly. I left a voicemail for Oliver, who was at work, and without much time to grieve, I hurriedly prepared for the funeral. After dealing with the funeral home and contacting those who had helped, I finally returned home close to midnight. Since I couldn't manage household chores while taking care of my father, Oliver had been regularly visiting his mother's house. I had hoped that he would come home to comfort me, at least during these difficult times, but Oliver was nowhere to be found. I sent the details of the funeral to my husband via text and went to sleep. Even on the day of the funeral, there was no contact from Oliver, and he did not appear. On the other hand, with many responsibilities as the only family member, I had no room to worry about my husband. Eventually, by the time attendees started arriving, there was still no sign of Oliver. At that moment, one of the attendees approached me.
Emma, it's been a while.
Kent, thank you for your continued support. I appreciate you coming all this way today. Kent is an old friend of my father's.
Well, I'm truly sorry about your dad. Since I'm here, I'd like to greet Oliver, your husband.
I tried to contact Oliver, looking at my phone. To my surprise, there was an aggressive call from him. I'm sorry, my husband hasn't arrived yet. I'll make a quick call. There might be something wrong. Apologizing to Kent, I hurriedly made the call, and Oliver answered, yelling at me.
What the hell are you doing? Did you forget what day it is today?
Huh? What day is it? It's my father's funeral, so I'm already at the funeral home. What on earth are you doing, Oliver?
Funeral? Did you forget today is my mom's birthday? Hurry up, buy a fancy champagne and come home.
Frustrated by my husband's prioritizing his mother over my father's funeral, I reached my limit. Despite the boiling anger, I took a deep breath to calm down. Then, I turned on the speaker of my phone, connected to Oliver, so everyone could hear our conversation. Oliver's voice echoed around.
Hey, are you listening? How about saying something?
Kent, in front of me, widened his eyes at Oliver's voice. Other attendees gathered, sensing something was wrong. With the speaker on, I responded to Oliver. I'm sorry. I don't quite understand what you're saying. What exactly do you want from me?
I already told you earlier. I said, buy a high-class champagne for my mom's birthday party.
That's impossible. You do realize today is my father's funeral, don't you?
So what? Today is my mom's once-a-year birthday. Who cares about someone who's not even in this world anymore? Take care of my living mom instead.
A special day. I can't think of anything more important than my father's funeral. Can you?
What? You're already married to this family. Do you really think you're allowed to put your own family first? Like that?
The attendees were stunned by Oliver's words. I fell silent and he continued to curse at me.
To begin with, I hated that you went to the hospital to take care of your father. Even though I let you go to the hospital with the promise of properly preparing for my mom's birthday, you're such an ungrateful person.
If it weren't for the timing, I would have properly prepared for your mother's birthday party too. But right after my father passed away, I can't possibly celebrate. Oliver let out a heavy sigh on the phone.
Your old man dying right before my mom's birthday is such a hassle. Ugh. Enough already. Talking to you won't get us anywhere. I was a fool to rely on you. Today, my mom and I will celebrate her birthday. Just the two of us.
Saying that, Oliver unilaterally hung up the phone. I immediately turned to Kent. I'm sorry. It seems my husband won't be coming after all.
I see. Emma, you must be going through a lot. If you encounter any problems, feel free to consult with me.
Kent kindly offered words of comfort to me. The attendees also directed sympathetic looks my way. After greeting Kent and the attendees, I returned to the funeral preparations, successfully concluding the funeral without any hitches. Exhausted upon returning home, my husband was still absent. I made up my mind to completely sever ties with Oliver and went to sleep. The next night, when Oliver returned home, he was clearly irritated.
Hey, I'm back. Aren't you going to greet your husband?
As irritating as it was to even talk to him, I couldn't help but ask due to his unusual behavior. What's going on? Why are you so frustrated? Oliver complained to me, looking annoyed.
Nothing's going on. I got suddenly transferred from sales to warehouse duty today.
Ah, about that. Without showing any surprise, I responded, earning a skeptical look from my husband.
What's with that? You're talking like you knew it would happen.
Well, I did. But I didn't expect the results to come out this quickly. My words left Oliver wide-eyed.
Did you do something? No way someone like you can interfere with the personnel decisions of a big company like ours.
I wasn't the one who proposed it.
Then, who the hell interfered?
Kent did.
Kent? Who's that?
Oh my. Don't you even know the name of your company's executives?
Wait, Kent? You mean the executive? How do you know about the executive?
Kent is an old friend of my father. It seems my father informed you about my husband working in the same company, and he wanted to greet you during the funeral.
Talking directly with the executive? Hey, set up another meeting with the executive. I don't know how this misunderstanding happened, but if I talk to the executive, I'm sure we can get this unjust transfer revoked.
I think it's useless.
Just do it. You know the contact, right? Call the executive right away.
I wanted to properly thank Kent, and making the call is fine, but despite Oliver relying on me, while overlooking his actions, I called Kent. Kent promised to come after I explained the situation to him. The next day, when Kent arrived, Oliver clearly exhibited a fawning attitude.
Kent, I apologize for not being able to meet you the other day. I've been looking forward to it.
Kent smiled wryly as he entered our home. When I offered coffee and sweets, Oliver immediately scolded me.
Hey, what's with these cheap sweets? Didn't you buy them from the store my mother recommended?
These are the sweets my father loved. I wanted Kent, who came to visit us, to feel nostalgic.
I don't care about that. Just do as my mother says, and you can't go wrong.
Kent intervened to soothe us.
He always loved these sweets. How nostalgic. I'll take one.
Saying so, Kent took a bite of the sweets, and Oliver praised him excessively.
As expected of Kent. Even if you're served cheap sweets, you're so broad-minded that you won't be offended.
Feeling a bit fed up with the obvious flattery, Kent asked Oliver with a slightly irritated tone.
So, what's the matter you wanted to discuss?
Prompted by the question, Oliver leaned forward in his seat.
Regarding the recent personnel change, I thought there might be a misunderstanding. I don't think it's right to transfer a capable salesman like me to the shadows of the warehouse.
A misunderstanding?
I don't know what my wife told you, but please, don't take a housewife's playful words seriously. There should be no reason for me to be transferred to a windowless department.
Hearing this, Kent let out a deep sigh.
I haven't heard anything from her. The reason for this personnel change is entirely based on your own actions. What do you mean by my actions? We shouldn't put people in business who don't have the common sense to show up at their father-in-law's funerals. That's what we decided.
Upon hearing that, Oliver hastily began to justify himself.
That's not it. My mother wasn't feeling well, and I couldn't leave my parents' house no matter what.
Oliver's desperate excuse made Kent furrow his brows.
That's completely different from what I heard. I told you, don't take my wife's story seriously. No. What I heard was the conversation over the phone with you. On that day, you said on the phone that you couldn't come because there was a birthday celebration for your mother. Why was she...
Oliver suddenly turned pale.
When you and your wife were on the phone, I was also present. Thanks to her putting the phone on speaker, I was there during the call, even during the funeral service, where everyone heard your insults. Also the reason why you didn't attend your father-in-law's funeral. That's... I thought that when I was invited to your house this time, I could hear words of reflection from you, but as soon as you opened your mouth, it was just lies to protect yourself. It seems my decision to remove you from sales was the right one. Wait a minute.
Panicking, Oliver clung to me this time.
Emma, please, say something too. If I'm removed from sales now, I'll be off the promotion track. If I can't get a promotion and my salary decreases, you'll be in trouble too, won't you?
I coldly replied to him. Huh? I won't be in trouble at all.
Your life is at stake.
No, it's not. Whether you succeed or not, my life won't change at all. I have no intention of staying married to you any longer. In response to his plea, I handed him the divorce papers. I'm getting a divorce from you. Oliver laughed at my statement.
Divorce? How's a housewife like you going to live if you divorce me?
No need to worry. I've already decided on my next job and house. Kent kindly introduced me to a real estate agency that he's familiar with, and they also offered me a job.
What did you say?
Finally, my husband seemed to understand that I was serious. Kent supported me in this situation.
I won't allow any hesitation or reluctance about divorce at this point. To prevent the situation from getting worse, I recommend signing the documents right here. But Kent? Is there still something else? Fine.
Under Kent's pressure, Oliver signed the documents. He sat in a daze on the chair. After seeing off Kent, I left the house with the divorce papers and my belongings. Oliver reportedly left the house right after I did and returned to his parents' home. It was only natural since he couldn't handle household chores on his own. When his mother found out that he was demoted to warehouse duty, she was furious. She suggested that he quit the current job and seek employment at a bigger company. Driven by his mother's persuasion, Oliver submitted his resignation and started job hunting. However, getting a job at a major corporation turned out to be challenging. In the end, there wasn't a big company that would hire Oliver. He ended up unemployed, relying on his mother's pension for a living. Oliver's situation has left his mother feeling angry and disappointed. They seem to live a twisted life, each blaming the other, saying it's your fault. On the other hand, I have been thriving in the job Kent introduced me to the point where a promotion seems possible now. My father's former subordinate has become a good confidant, and I'm even contemplating getting remarried to him. I will cherish the connection my father established and continue to do my best in the future. That's the pledge I made in my heart.